Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Twitter versus Musk video. If you guys don't know, I spend a lot of my spare time studying business and finance, and I asked you guys in a poll, hey, do you want to see me do a video about this? And you guys said yes, so here it is. So let's go down this little roller coaster, shall we? So, if you've been under a rock somewhere for the past 2 months, Elon Musk, the preeminent billionaire, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has been trying to purchase the Twitter. In other words, the actual company, the social media giant. So, there's been a lot of controversy going on about that, and I'm going to try and stay as far away from the politics as I possibly can and just talk straight business about it. So, let's really look at what's going on business wise. So, this started really with Musk buying the majority share of Twitter and then deciding to take the company private by making an offer on Twitter. Now, what people don't necessarily realize is that buying a company like Twitter is like buying a house. You make an offer, that offer is approved, and then you have to go through the appraisal phase and all kinds of legal jargon. So we're still currently in the middle of the legal jargon, the whole appraisal of Twitter, the appraisal of what it's actually worth, and all that stuff. And Musk has put that deal on hold. Now, a lot of people may not understand, why is Musk putting this on hold? Is it just a ploy to get it cheaper? And it's like, maybe. But let's kind of explain why he would be trying to get this cheaper. Now, for those of you who don't understand the concept, I myself am part of the Rich Dad Poor Dad school of thinking and learning, so I'll explain. There's a bit of a difference between a business's profession and its actual business. So, a profession like for Twitter, Twitter's profession is to be a platform. Its actual business is in advertising. Okay? So, Twitter, its profession is to be a public space for everybody. But what makes it money is advertising. Basically, being able to go, okay, here's our metrics, and charging companies X amount of money based on those metrics to advertise to their users. So, for example, Twitter can say it has X million active users per day and say to a company, hey, we have this many users per day. We'll charge you this much money to advertise on our site to get those users to buy your product. So, that being said, why is Musk holding his thing on hold right now? Well, one, according to the filings and the data that Twitter gave him, less than 5% of the accounts on Twitter are fake. Now, you and I can both know that that is some BS. Okay? There are way more bots on Twitter than that. I can guarantee you I have more than a few cam girl bots that are freaking following my Twitter right now. So, obviously that's red flag number one. And you might be asking, well, if Musk knew that, why would he buy the platform in the first place? Well, one, Musk is a businessman, okay? And so what businessmen like to do is they like to diversify the kind of businesses they have. And you're talking about a man who owns a vehicle business, owns a freaking space exploration company. Are you kidding me? Gee, why would he buy a social media company when one of his major things right now is he's literally providing internet via space? hmm. Um. Yeah. So obviously, maybe he wants to branch out. Maybe he does as he said on Twitter itself that he wants to have a free speech platform, and he doesn't like how Twitter is operating, and that he believes that he can make it operate better. Which, hey, maybe he can. In fact, as far as I can say, yeah, he's done a pretty good job in the other two companies he's run and he started up. So, but what's really been going on is it's becoming very, very apparent and obvious that Twitter itself has been trying to kind of screw him over as much as they possibly can. You have employees coming out and saying that they don't want to work for Musk, and in some cases, actively trying to attack Musk as he's trying to buy the platform because he's going to actually make them work, apparently. Um, Gee, I have a job. It's almost like I'm required to do it. uh, but as for, why he's doing it, I don't think it's just a ploy to get it cheaper. I think he's probably got the statistics before him, and he's probably going, okay, now that I actually have the statistics in front of me, now I know they're lying out their bum. And here's the thing, okay? You can have suspicions about a company. Like, you can have a suspicions about social media. I know that I am as someone who's on a social media website doing videos and doing stuff like that, I can say that I have very much my own suspicions of what's going on that site. But unless I have the actual metrics data, unless I have the actual information before me, I really can't say anything. Like, until I have the actual code for that website, there's nothing really I can say or I can do to sit there and try and proclaim, oh, they're fraudulently doing stuff. Because then I'm just lying out my ass or making assumptions out my ass, because there's no guarantee that I can really say that that's what's going on. Musk knows that. See, what people don't understand about billionaires is this is not what college tells you what a billionaire does. Billionaires and people like Musk are not exploitative people. They're people that are smart. They're people that know how to make deals and know how to get the people that, if they don't know how to do something themselves, they know how to get the people that do. And they know how to pay them well, and they know how to find the ones that will actually do their job. I don't know if the Twitter employees per se are hoping or thinking that he's a billionaire. He's just your average billionaire playboy, and surely he won't know anything about programming. But I think what they're failing to realize is that Musk probably has his own Twitter Team 6 hidden somewhere that they're not knowing about at this point. That it's just this room filled with the best of the best he can find. Top tier programmers, top tier social media experts, people that are the best in their business, and he's just handing them the data and going, hey, does this look right? Does this look right? Does this look right? And they go, no. See, here's the thing as well about billionaires is this. And Robert Kiyosaki in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad does bring this out, that rich people have a tendency of being jacks of all trades. They don't know a lot about one thing. They know a little bit about everything. And that's the point, is to know enough to understand what the hell's going on. So Musk probably has a good idea what's happening on Twitter, and so what he's doing is again, like I said, he's got his little Twitter Team 6 that he's handing this data and going like, this doesn't look right. Can you take a look at this and see if I'm just being crazy or not? And so this Twitter Team 6 basically is sitting there looking at it going, okay, that's BS. That's BS. And, Twitter doesn't seem to know how to deal with that. Because they were hoping that Musk just wouldn't know how to do anything, which I don't understand these days why these kind of companies, these people that work at these kind of companies would think that someone who makes billions of dollars wouldn't do that kind of thing. It's like, yes. Why wouldn't the billionaire pay money for experts that know what they're doing? But, so yeah, that's probably why. And so for everyone wondering, like, well, why is this important? Well, understand, like I said, Twitter's profession is to be a platform, right? Its business is advertising. So if more people on that platform that it's supposed to be advertising are bots too, are bots than human beings, the value of that company goes down. Because that means that its partners, its advertising partners, the people that are paying them to do so, are going to want to pay less money to do that. Because, yeah, companies are not dumb. Okay, they're not going to want to pay millions of dollars to advertise to 50% bots. Okay, that's not their thing. Businesses don't just hand out millions of dollars for no reason, okay? And so for a company whose entire business structure is based on advertising, the more real people you have, the better. The more real people you have, the more people that you can actually advertise to, so the more people that companies are willing to more money companies are willing to pay for it, which increases the value of Twitter. Now, Twitter is again claiming that it has less than 5% bots. Anybody that's used Twitter knows that's constant. That is absolute nonsense, okay? There are way more than 5% bot accounts on that website. We all know it. In fact, I would agree with Musk, and like I said, this Twitter team 6 behind him is probably sitting there going, yeah, there's like 25% bots here. They just don't want to admit it. And that would actually highly devalue Twitter as a whole. Because Twitter, when Musk originally was going to buy it, he offered $54 something cents a share, right? Well, now, if there's 25% bots, that's a lot more than bots than they are claiming, which means the site is worth a lot less than they're claiming. Now, for those of you not in the know, that's fraud. And technically, if Musk really, really wanted to, he could literally look at Twitter and go, "You're trying to fraud me. I'm not paying you $1 billion for Jack because you're either going to let me out of this contract or I'm going to report you to the police or to the federal government, essentially." And Twitter couldn't do anything about it because that's true. If he can sit there and hand the government proof and evidence that, yeah, they're making up their numbers, then yeah, they would be slapped with fraud, which would mean the immediate firing and jail for the CEO, the CFO, and virtually almost every employee at Twitter that knew about what was going on. So, and you're like, well, why would it be fraud? Well, see, here's the thing, okay? After the Great Depression, we actually started making laws saying that companies could no longer fib about what their actual value is. So if Twitter is saying that it's got 5% bots and its value is $54 a share, but then it comes out that that's actually not true, then that Twitter has 25% bots and they're worth half of that, not only can they get smacked for fraud for trying to literally fraud one of the richest men in the world, but they can get smacked for fraud for lying to their investors, lying to their clients. It turns into a giant mess that can literally destroy the entire company. The fact is, it's actually why YouTube specifically has in its little terms of service that you're not allowed to mess with the metrics because that is, again, a federal crime. It's considered fraud. So basically, lying about the numbers that they have, lying about how many active users or people they have, can actually do a lot of damage to Twitter. Musk certainly knows that. Twitter certainly knows that, which is why they're trying to so ardently do damage control. Hi, yes, I know you want to say hello because you're a cat. Yeah, I know, bud. Anyway, as Cat will stop meowing at me as he meows and rubs his face. Um, Basically, what's going to end up happening here is if Musk doesn't buy Twitter, he's probably going to, once he's free from any kind of non-disclosure agreement, which is what they kind of screamed at him before, because in one tweet he just said, "Oh, Twitter just uses like 100 accounts to do the 5% bot thing," which I don't think anybody has to be a genius to figure out that's not an adequate sample size, especially for a platform that claims to have millions of users per day. That's a wee bit on the too on the low side there. So like so yeah, Musk would basically, if he doesn't buy Twitter outright, he would immediately then reveal all the information that he's gotten so far, which, yeah, absolutely would destroy Twitter. I'm not even kidding. It would probably destroy Twitter immediately, because Twitter would immediately get sued, not only for by its clients, but it would also get slammed with federal government agencies like the SEC. It would definitely, if I was Musk, I'd probably sue them myself for trying to defraud me for several billions of dollars. Um, yeah, that would suck for Twitter. Because when you lie to the government also has the capacity to do things like removing your business license, which means that Twitter would effectively cease to exist, which would really put all those people out of work. Not only that, but Twitter would actually end up being the canary in the coal mine, basically. And what I'm talking about is that Twitter is not the only company that has that business model. Twitter is not the only company that does that. YouTube does it, Facebook does it, Twitch does it. So if Twitter comes out to be lying about how many users they have, if Twitter comes out and it's shown that they're doing things like shady crap that they're not supposed to, like shadow banning, which is actually, if provable, would actually be a form of fraud. Because again, they're manipulating metrics to try and control and manipulate things on the website, which, yeah, legally that's considered fraud, because they're actively trying to manipulate what's going on the site. Which is why it's called shadow banning, because technically they can't ban you, but so they try to do the shady thing of trying to throttle you, even though that's not really legal, because again, like I said, it's messing with the metrics. You know, something about when your metrics kind of looks at the laws of mathematics, does a giant line of cocaine, and then flips it the bird, kind of is a bit of an alarming thing in that. So yeah, it would end up being the canary in the coal mine, basically, because now all of the advertising partners would be looking at all these other sites going, okay, are you also faking your numbers? How many of your users are actually bots? How much are you actively doing that is a fraudulent behavior? And they would be getting looked at not by just the clients, but also the federal government as well. Because it's another thing to have, certain political voices trying to say that you're trying to silence them. It's another thing entirely when it comes out that you're faking your numbers and you're lying about how many active users and how many hours people are actually watching, or how many tweets people are actually looking at and liking and all that stuff. It really becomes a problem. And like I said, it could definitely, if this turns out to be true, and Twitter is already in hot water with the government because they just got fined $150 million for stealing people's information. Yeah, that sounds like a perfectly good business plan. Let's steal our users' intel and sell it for a bunch of money just to get freaking slammed by the government. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, to me, I think, honestly, for my honest point, is Musk is going to win. Like, I'm going to be honest. Elon is going to win because, again, he's a leader. He knows what he's doing. He has a vision for what he wants. He knows how to acquire the people that can make that vision happen. He knows how to get the materials for them to be able to make it happen. This is the thing. Musk is an actual leader. He knows what he's up to. He knows how to make things happen. And that's what makes him such a genius. Is the fact that he's able to get all of these people in a room, get them to do what they need to do, get this stuff to happen. So, a bunch of college educated programmers that think they're hot shit and thinking that they can outsmart a billionaire, which, yeah, you might outsmart him personally. Good luck outsmarting all his people behind him, though. Because they're going to tell him every bit of information. And like I said, Musk is going to know at least a little bit about everything. So, it's definitely going to end badly for Twitter. Either he's going to buy Twitter and he's going to fire all the people that basically tried to shit on him when he was trying to buy it in the first place, or the deal will fall through and he's going to break Twitter by literally just exposing them for being fake as hell. Because, yeah, if he has the metrics to do that, he's going to do it. The only reason he's really not doing that right now is, again, one, he's actually trying to buy the company, and two, if he does it now, he can actually get hammered for non-disclosure and all that stuff. So he can actually have some problems legally himself. So I hope this video is interesting to you guys. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, my friends. Take care.